Hey guys, I'm Matt Lighty, and I've been doing a bunch of heists recently, looking for, missing replicas, etc. Found a strategy that is a very known interaction, but this works really well for my build, which is I'm playing the Fulcrum Chieftain, or any build that could clear a certain width. Like I cleared the RF width pretty much, so I use Silo for this one, and the interaction's pretty simple. If you do Silo on a map that has destructive play on, when you fight the boss, you begin phase 1, and as you full clear the entire map, when you get to destructive play, if Maven has not already witnessed the map, Maven will witness the map, summon 3 bosses, and they'll all be whisked because of thorough exploration. You kill those bosses, and then you have a really high chance of getting, either Guardian maps, Conqueror maps, or Synth maps. Yeah, it's pretty chill. Mostly I use this, again, for heist stuff. So for heisting, you want to have a trinket that has Smuggler's Caches have a chance to duplicate contained rogue markers, ideally 10%. And the only real scarab I was using a Carto of Corruption, extremely common. And then using a unique map will drop from the final boss, the Singularity, extremely common. I use these two because they just get me more maps to drop. And then the maps that Drew drop are like 8 mod silos, so I can just keep kind of going. Yeah, I just mostly put those on. I put on my map. I don't really craft them because they're just IDing. You're getting ones from the corruptions. And then we're putting on, where is it? Heist. And this is like the main thing. There's really no way to generate heist past this. So the passive tree has all the heist stuff, map effect, map drop, scarabs that just helps you sustain. Oh my god, I'm missing a point here. Oh, it doesn't matter. It just gives you Huck, but I had a minor freak out right there. But you pretty much have all the spawn chance, and there's just one little nugget of spawn chance there. And then there's this circle, this circle. You get the top and bottom. The bottom one doesn't really matter. These blueprints don't really matter, but that bottom node does have a chance to fully reveal them. So typically you run one wing grand heists, right? If you're running a grand heist, you won't even bother revealing because the cost per running a wing goes up exponentially. So if you have way more blueprints than markers, which a lot of times you will, it's just more effective to do that. But when you get a fully revealed one, it's already paid for, so it's fine. So yeah, so you just clear the map like normal, right? And then you're gonna get a bunch of rogues caches, like almost guaranteed, because you have the 2. They have a chance to duplicate an additional, so like probably somewhere between, I don't know, 4 to 5 on average. And then there's a chance that you can get the one that procs like 7 extra. So you could, if you want to take maps, you can. You're not gonna actually be killing this map, like if you want to pick up a map that's just like a good one, but I'm only going to be picking up silos because I'm trying to stay inside silo. This is also like okay for getting 17s. It's not a great rate. I was getting like 4 to 5 to 1 ratio. It's like every 4 or 5 silos I'd maybe get a 17. Something like that. Not nearly as good as Back to Basics or any other real strategies, but yeah. I don't even know if I put Maven on here. It should have defaulted on, but if for some reason it didn't, let's have to redo the map. But there's the first rogues cache. There's a silo. Okay, we got one. And then we're running up. Another smuggler's cache. You need contracts. I have them hidden, but yeah. If you're going to be picking up contracts actually run, there's something to be said about more likely to having precious and high value targets than only picking up ones that have that. So if you hold Alt, you can see the top second line down. Heist target, Dakar is resolved, precious. I'd really only pick up ones that are precious if you care about the markers. Otherwise, it's whatever. I'd rather just run more maps myself and get more things. More heist there, so we're at 1,000. It's about 800 to 1,000 to run one blueprint. So this one map has already funded at least one blueprint, and we got like no extra spawns. So we'll maybe get one more rogues cache, but we didn't. Looks like we didn't proc the chance up here. The 10% chance to contain a bunch more, and 5% chance for the 6 extra, so there's like a couple things that you can get. Is this even Maven witnessed? I don't even know if this is. Oh, she's here. Okay, so there's Maven, so she's going to spawn 3 extra bosses. There's 1, 2, 3. You're never going to accidentally kill the middle guy because he has 3 phases, right? You'd want to have single target that I don't have, but I'm going to proc an explosion here, and then they'll die. And I'm just going to showcase, I'm going to leave and come back just so I can showcase the loot, because it's easier when I'm not in combat. So I just killed 3 of the Atlas bosses that respawned because of destructive play. Because we didn't phase the silo boss the second and third time, the map is actually never fully completed or witnessed. There's like all the loot we dropped. You can see we dropped 1, 2, 3 unique maps from the Scarab. We unfortunately did not hit any 17s or anything worthwhile. Gonna grab my couple uniques and then I'm gonna leave. If you want to kill the rest of the mobs there before the last phase, you can, but not a big deal either way. These are the things I'm valing. Trash and trash. Okay, so yeah, this map unfortunately has no regen, so I can't do it. But like, if you want to craft your maps, you can. I don't know if I'd do much more effort than just, you know, that. If you want to really try to craft them, you can go buck wild, but I just don't think it's really worth it. So. Next map, putting in, again, heist, putting on. So that one map we got no blueprints and 1200 markers. Okay, let me just bank these so we can see the next one. And you'll see that it, even though we just did the map and it was Maven witnessed, it didn't actually complete the Maven witnessing. So when we do it again, we'll have a pretty decent chance. Ooh, so that was a doubled one from the trinket right there. So that was 800 instead of like would have been 400. So that trinket really, really pays off big time. I don't know if you can get a trinket that says double rogue markers from mobs and also from smuggler's caches, but the smuggler's caches is way better since you're going to get most of your markers from that doing this sort of thing. And yeah, it'll definitely make your money back also. So if you're worried about solo self-fund, like I have some free crafts for the heist thing, but once it gets to the point where you're actually paying for heist with chaos, once you do the grand heists, right, and then you start looping that, you'll have no problem paying for it. One wing will get upwards of 20 chaos, which will pay for multiple maps, and then not mentioning any of the secondary drops or things like that. So definitely worthwhile. Okay, entering the boss room here. We're going to be getting the 3 extra bosses. 1, 2, 3. Time to up the stakes. So there's our 3 bosses. And then we're going to kill them, hopefully get some map conversions or something. Okay, so this is the other thing I want to talk about. I forgot about this totally, to be honest. But because of this is actually a great way. I say great, it's a pretty okay way in Solo Self-Found to get Awakened Gems. When you have a witnessed boss from Maven, there's about a 1% chance they drop an Awakened Gem, give or take. You're killing 3 per map for perpetuity. So it's actually like a decent chance to get Awakened Gems off of this. Now, the Awakened Gems are still weighted and tiered, so like Added Chaos is like the lowest tier of Awakened Gem. Doesn't mean it's not very usable for the build that use it. Also, so we got 1 conversion map, so there's a Baron if you wanted that. There's a 1, 2, and then 3 unique maps. That's a pretty good one to get in general. And yeah, you can kill like the 2nd or 3rd wave of stuff, but I just accidentally killed the boss there, right? So what this means now is this is going to happen if you fuck up. So say you accidentally do kill the silo boss. Okay, so now I can't keep looping my silos. What do I have to do? Right, this is the part where it really sucks. I now have to clear off my Maven progress to get silo back on. So what I would have to do now is just go do any 9 other non-witness maps, 14, 15s, and 16s, like, and then do the fight through Kirk, do a 10-way to get back to the silo spot. That's why I typically, once you leave, right? But this is how you get the things like the specific unique maps from the things, or the rogue markers, or the Awakened Gems, with the looping silo strategy. And just to clarify what I mean by like the one-wing stuff, because like, you know, we didn't get a blueprints to drop, but I have ample blueprints. When I'm doing a blueprint from a one-wing setting, so like I say, I take this one, okay. So we had 1.6k rogue marker drop. That's like an average amount. So if I'm doing a one-wing, as I'm paying for one wing, always make sure you have Talina on if you can, because she has a 30% chance when you pop the side rooms that you're going to get things that give you more rogue markers back. And then we run it, and you can see the total cost of running this one wing is 783 rogue markers compared to our 1671 we got for that one map. The previous map was 1100, right? So you can see that 783 for one wing. Now this means I'm pretty much able to fund 2 blueprints with one average map, and in that case you're doing a pretty decent ratio there. So if we were to be clearing out, this one does have a currency box. So say like the cost of running the map is, I don't know, 6 chaos, okay? So that 6 chaos paid for 1600 rogue markers. The potential to obviously give us blueprints, not to mention things like the Awakened Gem drop, etc. But you're almost always going to find, if you really give a shit, you have the ones that have like currency box, so you can pop small boxes. And these will have a chance to proc the Tulina thing. So that's why we added Tulinas, because there's a chance to get things like that. So this is the Tulina proc, which means we get a piece of shit we could sell to Faustus. That's going to net us just a little bit of rogue markers back. If you have extra alert level and you really are like trying to go infinite, feel free to pop boxes you don't care about, because you can still get the Talina proc. So even if I don't really care about weapons per se, I'm still going to get the Talina proc from that. And never forget, the Talina proc is only from secret reward rooms, so large boxes, not small boxes. These can't proc Talina, okay, the 30% chance. And then I go in here, and then I'm going to clear my stuff like regular. See if we get Fencold, don't want that. Replica Tullfall's kind of cool, sure. Tempering Orb. Say I want to get the Tempering Orb, right, just because it's like, you know, the exclusive item from Heist. We take that and we leave. If you want, there was one more large secret box we could proc on the way out to see if it pays for it. It was, what, like 800 rogue markers to run this wing. And with Talina and, like, mildly crafted gear, you could probably get close to paying for it with all this stuff. This isn't, like, super great. Like, Talina just mitigates the cost compared to actually negating the cost. But it's, you know, if you can have Talina on, there's no reason not to, like, kind of do this if you care about, you know, that stuff. So here we go, we got another proc, so there's one more. So in total, we ended up leaving with 3 different Talina procs at on 30%. So 6 boxes. We got a little bit above average, I guess. We should have gotten, like, just only 2, maybe. Let's see what that totals. So we spent 800 rogue markers to run the 1 wing, and we spent the 1 blueprint to run the 1 wing. And from Faustus, vendoring the Talina stuff is 1170. So if we only hit 2, for example, we still would have paid for it. The fact we got a 3rd proc means we actually net positive on rogue markers for running this 1 wing, which is kind of cool. So that's why Talina is quite useful. If you level up Talina more, I believe it actually increases that chance past 30%. So fun fact. Well, another one. I'm just doing the 10 to get back to doing Silo, and there's an Awakened Out of Lightning. Okay, so I did my 10 to get back to doing Silo, so now I have to just do the Atlas Invitation. Craft these if you want. I don't give a shit. I don't know. I probably don't do it most of the time. And after this, we could then go back to doing Silo like normal. And one more, I think. There we go. Okay, so we are back to doing Silos once more. Now I just have to not fuck it up. Okay, so I'm back to doing my heisted Silo after doing the 10 resets, which you saw the little clips from. Just want to toss on some more clips here because I feel like, I don't know, just more examples could be good. Not that really anything's going to change or anything different. But yeah, so we're just, you know, doing another one, hoping to get a high proc of rogue markers, rogues caches and markers, all that sort of goodies. You could incorporate other mechanics in this if you want to, like strong boxes or whatever. I just find this is like the pure, you know, the pure route here is the better one. There's a heist. You'll get a bunch of grand heists, as we talked about. They have that small chance to get them to be totally fully revealed. I'd like to get that to proc just so I could show you what that looks like. Well, it's not like it's a big to-do, but it really just says, you know, whatever, 4 out of 4 instead of 1 out of 4. There's a tier 17. Again, they just drop, you know. It's a 1 in 5-ish maps, so we get a 17. Kind of the number I was getting. I'd like to get the multiple rogues marker thing to proc, and then also get the blueprint thing to proc. Possible. I think I'll just put some sack frag. You know, sack frags give quantity. It's like 10 quant, I think, per sack frag, or 5. Maybe 10 for mortals. But yeah, we almost 2,000 rogue markers that last one, so love to see it. Grand heist, but none of them were fully revealed. You ever found yourself like not having enough silos? Any of those tier 17s we just dropped, as long as you have your favorite slots, right, for silo, you run 1 tier 17 with like Carto scarabs and then like the corrupted scarabs, you'll leave with 15-20 silos. So 117 is going to fund you for like, I don't know, probably at least 10 to 15 silos per map. Obviously you could roll 50, you know, 17s to have more maps. So you'll see the 5th line down on its text as more maps 60%. This one does not have a more map roll. This one does not. And this one has one for 50%. So you do have to like roll them to be that, but you can easily get that over 100%. Then you could do like a back to basics tree, like the standard back to basics tree with that, and then you'll fund yourself as many silos as you ever need. So 117 and you'll be stocked up on, you know, 20, 30 silos, which at the very least, like I've been going 1-to-1 pretty okay, but if you don't run the 17s, you might be a little bit dry. You might have like a chance that where you'll hit a drought of silo drops, but once you do 117, you'll course correct and have a total supply of maps to run to where the point where I don't even have room in my map tab for maps anymore. So it's very, very easy to like stock up like that. Okay, and we got another synth map. Okay, I have tons of loot again. If you know, uniques, rares. This sort of strategy is obviously a little tricky to do in early league because it's just on the ripier side. But yeah, that's gonna go pretty nuts. So the benefit of playing the Juggernaut or the non-Fulcrum version of this build, despite it costing about an extra mirror or two to build, you do get to run Purity of Elements or have Storm Shroud for element immunity. So it does allow you to run no regen maps very comfortably. This is not the case with my version of the build. Another 17, sure. You know, I started making this video, I thought I'd be fishing for an Awakened gem drop. And now I've gotten those, and I'm fishing for the revealed blueprint and the multiple rogues cache proc. So it just really goes to show how this has evolved into way more of a chore than I was initially expecting.
Time to up the stakes.
Time to up the stakes. I've heard that so many times tonight. Another tier 17, wow. Oh, there we go. Okay. 3 out of 3 wings revealed. There's the 10% chance proc. So all this means is the cost will go up for running it, but you don't have to pay to reveal it. So if it typically costs 800, you're going to be assigning more people on average because you're doing it over 3 wings. So the cost will be about 20% higher, but it's basically, if you get a blueprint that drops either 3 out of 3 or 4 out of 3, it's like it saved you 3,000 to 4,000 rogue markers. Just to showcase, here's a 1 wing that cost 824 because we have 3 different people. If for some reason you wanted to make one of these people the same, the cost would go down. So if you don't need the benefit of different rogues helping you in doing this, you can make them the same, and it'll mitigate the cost. For example, in this situation, Niles just gives you 1 additional magic chest after lockdown. If you don't give a shit about that, then that's fine. Save yourself some rogue mark. So even using as many repeat people as possible, because it's 3 full wings that are fully revealed, the cost can't be effectively mitigated too much. However, it'll still be 1,600 for 3 wings versus maybe 900 or 800 times 3 for the total if you're running individuals. So it's still cost effective. And just to showcase, because I had run out of free uses, Heist does cost 5C, and the Curo case replacement for Chaos at the end of a Grand Heist is probably like 1 in 5 on average at 20C, so it's very easy to recoup this cost by running the Grand Heist. Really not much more to talk about. You saw what it takes to run the silos, why we run them for looping them with Maven, the interactions with rogues, markers, caches, blueprints, recouping your costs to run Heist, the benefits of running Heist in this state, and basically the whole process, and even getting some 17s on the way. There's kind of not much more to talk about in the video, so we're just going to probably wrap it up here. If you're in solo self-found and you want to get Awakened gems, conquer Guardians, synth maps, run Heist at the same time, and potentially hit a unique Val side zone, this strategy basically is self-sufficient. You could loop it infinitely, recouping the cost of scarabs and maps from T17s you get from doing the silos, and funding the silo farming with Heist from doing the blueprints. It's basically a cyclical event. So that's it. I'm Matt Lighty. This has been this video about blueprint farming, Maven witnessed heists, and with silos and all that stuff. And yeah, I'm a little crab boy. Chomp, chomp, chomp. See you in the next video. Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye.